Right before we head into break, I think we're going to address a couple questions that came up in the group just because they were great questions and I want to make sure that we capture them here. Evan, first, you mentioned in your presentation that a fresh build of the website or a constantly evolving website is important for churches these days. Is that why is that so? What do you mean when you say a brand new website every so often? Could you expound upon that?
You bet. Great. And it was a great question. And I flew over, here's what you should do, and didn't describe the why. So I would just ask everybody right now, envision the top 2 or 3 websites that you tend to visit. And just think about what are some of the attributes of that. What usually comes to mind is people are like, well, it's either someplace I want to go shop, meaning I'm going to look for new things, or it's a thought leader, it's another pastor, it's somebody where I want to go, or a news site where I want to go read and get new information. Very few of us would ever say, oh, my favorite site is one that never gets updated. And so if you're looking to increase online engagement, whether it's the people who already go to your church or the people who might be looking for a church, you want to be able to provide a new reason for them to come back. And so providing that fresh content gives your site a chance to get in someone's top list of sites to go to. And ideally, for your own church, it should be a hub of new information about the vision, the life, and the opportunities in your church. So,
excellent. Thanks for that. And so are you saying that we need to rebuild with a new theme every year? Is that what you're saying? Or can you clarify that?
Yep. So those would be 2 different things. One would be the design and one would be the content. Very good. The content, keeping the content fresh keeps people coming back. Making the design fresh, just make sure that the site doesn't look dated. You know, website trends and the looks of what we think are kind of current sites. You can still, whatever the DNA of your church, keep expressing itself in a fresh way.
Great. Love it. Hopefully that addressed the question. If not, we can keep going in the YouTube chat box there. Another question kind of gets towards the content framework maybe, and a little bit towards Evan and Peter here, would be how do you distinguish what video gets played in worship, faith stories and all that, and what gets put on Facebook? Is there kind of a hierarchy of content specifically with videos per se?
Yeah, I would say that it comes down to what your goals are. If you are just wanting to engage the congregation in what's been going on in the church, playing video during the service is awesome, and testimonials and telling about mission trip experiences and all of that is really great. If you're looking to get people to take action, then I think both places are really the key. If you are looking for volunteers for that mission trip, then put that out there, do a short snippet on Facebook, direct them to the full video on your YouTube channel, and have a good strong call to action at the very end that says, sign up today on our website. And so you're leveraging that same content appropriately across each one of those channels.
I would just add, we often think you'll cultivate what you celebrate. You'll cultivate what you celebrate. So if you have videos that you're celebrating the kind of things that Peter's describing, a mission trip, faith, people taking next steps of faith, sharing their testimony, it's awesome to share them. And I think it's a both. Share them in worship, share them online. That way people, especially if it's you show it in worship and you say, hey, later today or already, this is going to be posted on Facebook. Go home and share this with your friends. You can kind of encourage that.
Excellent. Love it. I'm just going to do one more question. I'm sorry. Andrew's in the background. Like, what's he going to stop? But I've been asking our staff to write a blog. Most were glad to. A few refused or complained that they already had too much to do. When we're talking about doing all these new forms of content, is there an effective way or some practices that you can put into place to kind of get the team on board and kind of realize what we're trying to do as a church? Anyone here could answer that.
I can start. I think it really comes down to just helping them see the value in that. I think so often in the church, people put a lot of time and energy into developing what we call content in the communication realm that they are just using as tools in the ministry. And if we can show them how communication can extend the reach of that content and be a blessing to more people, then I think they start to get on board. And then the other aspect is showing them how easy it is. It's not a matter of doing a super well-crafted, professionally videographed explanation of your sermon. It's just taking your cell phone and talking about it for 30 seconds. A good friend of mine is a pastor who does 60-second devotions for his youth group and posts them on Instagram every night. And he gets a great response just by doing it. And it's again, engaging the audience.
Yeah, in our environment, and in many churches, you have people who love to write, and then you have people who have something to share, but they just don't like to write. Maybe it just either they don't have time, or that's just written communication isn't their norm. So we use and recommend a content request form. So it's a simple Google form. So whoever's in charge of the website or in charge of that blog or content, and I would be an example of someone, I don't always have time to write. So I'll get a content request form. It's got 3 or 4 questions. Tell me about this thing's coming up. Why are we doing it? What do you want people to do? I can just kind of throw up on that form. I don't have to worry about sentence structure, verb, conjugate, nothing. I can just get the information out, and then someone else takes it and they craft it into a short, tidy blog. So that's the way to get the staff involved. Find out what's their appetite, what will they give you, and then take what they'll give. I said throw up online, sorry.
Awkward. Any thoughts you'd like to share, Bill, or we'll wrap up here?
No, I think that really covered it. I think the biggest thing people need to understand is that they've got something to say. I mean, they do have content that's worth sharing, and a lot of times you get intimidated that I've got to achieve perfection online because nobody remembers the days of GeoCities websites or something. I don't know, but dive in, try it, and you'll find it's well worth it.
Excellent. Loved it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate these presentations. I'm learning a whole bunch. So thank you. I think we're going to take a short break now and flip over to our next presenters, but we should be back very soon. Thank you all for hanging with us here, and we'll keep talking in the YouTube chat. If you want to catch us on Twitter, we're using Luthcom, Luthcomm, and we'll keep talking while we flip over to the next thing. Thanks.